to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Hey, hi everybody. Thank you for watching. This is SOS, where we are saving our sex lives one bedroom at a time. My name is LaKeesha Hines, and I am so happy to be here with you guys this evening. I want to shout out the people who are here. Hey there. Hi, Vashawn. Hi, JJ, Shalise, and JG. JG, you just warmed my little heart. JG said Tuesdays are lit. Love this show. I appreciate it. Trying to get it popping for you guys, trying to keep it on fire for you. Hi, Charles. Hello, Lisa. Hey, beautiful to you too. Hi, Bobby. And hello, JJ, Rick, Charles, Keetalyn. And then I see just some hey girls. So I don't know if these are it just says Facebook users. So hey, Facebook users who are saying hello. And again, thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it. I have a really, really good show for you guys this evening. Oh man. So if you watched last week, I had a special guest. It was my boo, my good thing, my baby daddy, my husband was here last week, and he was breaking down some truth, lies, myths about men and sex. So, you know, I am an equal opportunity person. Excuse me. So, I'm talking about the ladies tonight. And we're going to talk about the truth about women and sex. And oh my goodness, I got some good stuff for you. And next week, we're going even deeper. So, hello, Lith Ministries from South Africa. That's what's up. Thank you for joining. So, hey, hi, Evan M. Hey. All right. So, guys, we are diving in. We are jumping in. We are talking about women and sex and some things that hopefully, ladies, you can confirm. And I want to make sure that you drop your comments. Okay. Put your comments in the chat. Give me a yes or nah, LaKeesha, I'm not really feeling that one. Or can you break that down for me further? Let me see, ladies. Give me some feedback. Interact with me and let me know if you're on the same bandwagon with me. Okay, if this is making sense for you. And fellas, if you have questions and you're just not sure of like what I'm talking about, please let me know. You definitely can drop your questions and any comments as well, fellas, to let me know if this makes sense to you or this is like I'm speaking Greek. Let me know. But all right, so let's go ahead and dive right in. Again, this is a continuation, like, or I shouldn't even say continuation. This literally is in response to the truths that we discussed about men and sex last week. And just, I think maybe I'll give you guys just a quick little recap in case you didn't watch. Of course, you know, you can always go back and watch the episodes after they post after the show. And so if you did not watch that show, I highly recommend that you do, because I think it was some good stuff there. I think there was some golden nuggets, and I think you guys will benefit from it. Okay. But pretty much we went through 6 truths, myths, lies, whatever, about men and sex. That one, sex begins in the body for men, that sex is a hunger, that sex is energy, that sex is excitement, it's the way men give love, and that sex is love. Now, remember, this is the psyche of a man. All right. So, now transitioning to the ladies, many women find sex to be the deepest form of love and connection. And there are many women out there who are very sexually oriented, contrary to popular belief. So, while a man's orgasm may be quicker, hers, ours, women, is often more powerful, and we have an incredible capacity for pleasure, which could actually include multiple orgasms. But the way that we actually express and experience our sexuality, they're often very, very different from the way that men express their sexuality and how they experience their sexuality. So, we're going to talk about some of the most common ways that women might actually differ from men. The very first one is sex begins in the mind. So, men are often disappointed that their woman doesn't crave sex in her body as much as he does. Now, that's not saying that, women don't crave sex in their body. I'm saying typically not as much as men do. Our bodies are very different hormonally, right? So, testosterone actually does cause physiological desire in both men and women, but it's just to differing degrees. So, the male hormone drive is like a loud scream, but for women, it's like a whisper. For women, it's the fantasizing, the remembering, and imagining hot sex that actually revs her engine. So, when there's infatuation or falling in love, like, she's constantly thinking about being together. And so her sexual appetite will then be high and her arousal is easy. So, again, for women, sex begins in the mind. So now that's the positive, right? So let's take a spin on that and let's think about the downside or the negative side of that. If sex has not been pleasurable, if it has not been enjoyable for her, if she is not getting her needs met sexually, for women, it will be even more difficult for them to become aroused. Because again, if it starts in the mind and she's thinking about the last few times, like, it's becoming consistent that she's not enjoying it or it's not pleasurable for her, it will be extremely difficult for her to become aroused and also to crave sex in her body the way that men crave it, right? It will be challenging for her because, again, she's just like, what I remember wasn't all that good. It wasn't fun for me. I didn't enjoy it. So, if we're telling you that sex begins in the mind and she has negative thoughts about the sex, then that will affect her sexual appetite and it will affect her ability to become aroused. So, if you are trying to increase the desire, the sexual appetite, the arousal, we have to create more pleasurable experiences for her because you want to give her something to think about. You want her at work thinking about what happened that morning or the night before. You want her thinking about that because guess what? By the time she gets home, she can't wait. So keep that in mind for ladies, that sex actually begins in the mind. All right. So JJ Rick said, yes, yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You all give me confirmations, ladies. Let me know if this makes sense to you. If you're in agreement or if you disagree, that's cool. You can tell me that too. All right. So the next truth about women and sex is about being desired. Sex researcher Meredith Chivers said, being desired is the orgasm for women. So I told you guys before that for men, it's like a direct connection between their eyes and their penis because they're visual, right? So that doesn't mean that women don't get aroused by seeing an attractive man, but it's like a small spike of excitement in a woman, right? So some women are more visual than others, I will give you that. But again, we're saying sex begins in the mind for women, so it's the thought of her man's reaction to her that hits her brain like a lightning bolt. She's thinking, I wonder if he thinks I'm sexy. I wonder if he thinks I'm hot. I wonder if he thinks I'm attractive. And so knowing that her man is hungry for her is what actually engages her imagination. It ignites sexy thoughts in the brain. And so just as men often expect a whole lot of sex after marriage, women have expectations of lots of continuing romance that then assures her of her sexual desirability. So do you see, guys, how mentally, like if we are not on the same page, if we don't communicate, that we can have different expectations and we can have different views. And so that whole women are from Mars, men are from Venus, or however it goes, you've heard that saying before. The whole thing is that we're thinking about the same thing differently. We both want sex, we both want to enjoy it, we both want pleasure, but how we get there and what is pleasurable for each one of us is often very different. Okay? So again, when men are thinking about sex after marriage, they're just thinking like I want a lot of it. But women have expectations of after we get married that there will be even more romance. It will be more consistent, and that's oftentimes what makes a woman feel desired. And the more desired she feels, the more motivated she is to have sex. To me, it's not rocket science, right? Like, just make us feel desired, make us feel wanted. Now, that doesn't mean that men don't want to feel desired and wanted, but remember, we're talking about ladies tonight, okay? So, um, let's see. Mary said, "Oh my goodness, yes." Okay, all right. I see you. I see you. All right. So the next truth about women and sex. Sex is a mixed bag. What are you talking about, LaKeesha? What do you mean it is a mixed bag? Okay, so most women, they actually do love sex, but their desire can be affected by tiredness, resentment, physiological problems of pain, menopause, and betrayal. You guys go back to the previous episodes. As a matter of fact, it might have been the first episode I did for SOS, Why Women Say No to Sex. We talked all about how there are many different factors that affect a woman's desire to have sex. And so men obviously have um, more testosterone than we do, and it is the driver for men. Testosterone is the driver for sex for men, but the main task for women is to turn off our inner brakes. What are our inner brakes? It's the distractibility of the laundry, of children, of work, of the voices in our heads that are telling us no, don't do this because of our past history, because of past hurt and pain. Maybe there's certain things that your husband would like to try or do, but you're feeling a conviction religiously. So many voices, so much distraction in our mind. And, we often as women will come to bed willing to have a good experience, but really, we're not really wanting or craving sex until we get aroused. And that's different. Men are typically aroused, and then that's when they crave sex. So it's opposite. Um, Also, for men, it's not nearly as difficult unless there's some type of dysfunction going on with a man. It typically is not nearly as difficult for them to become aroused as it is for women. Like sometimes it can take up to 45 minutes for a woman to get aroused, and there is nothing wrong with you. You are normal. There's nothing wrong with you. I'm telling you guys, this is physiology. This is female anatomy, female brain, hormone. This is us, okay? It takes us more time to get aroused, more effort, more energy. It just is what it is. The sooner you ladies are able to accept that and embrace that, the more at peace you will be, the more uninhibited you will be, the more freer you will be, and the more confident you will be. And the sooner your husband, men who are here, the sooner you're able to grasp that and accept that and not internalize that and not make it be about you, because it's not always you, um, the happier you guys will be. And the easier it will be for you to get her to that point of arousal. Having regular orgasms is not as easy for women as it is for men, but it is necessary for continued desire. If she continues to engage in any type of sexual activity or is having sex with her man and she's not reaching orgasm or she's not getting pleasure out of it, it's going to affect her ability to continue engaging in the activity. So a lot of men, mostly they love variety. Women are kind of like, you know what? I want a tried and true position or tried and true routine because there is more of a guarantee of my pleasure, which will allow a woman to relax. If she goes into a situation unsure if she's going to be pleased, then there's tension and she's uptight and she can't relax. And the more uptight and tense we are, the more difficult it is to become aroused, to have an orgasm. So again, it's all connected and it all one affects the other. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense to you guys. So I'm going to take a quick break and then we'll come back on the other end and I will give you even more truths about women and sex. All right, be back in a two shakes of a lamb's tail. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. We are talking about women and sex, and I'm literally just breaking it down for you guys, the difference between women and men as it pertains to sex, with a focus on the ladies. All right, so on to the next. Sex is contextual. Oh my gosh, LaKeesha, what are you talking about? So there are many women who actually do learn orgasm through self-stimulation. But many women begin their sexual lives within a relationship or sometimes even a hookup. And the first time they're actually touched intimately, it may be by another person, whereas mostly all men, nearly all men, they start their sexual lives with masturbation. So feeling sexual desire is the rawest form of vulnerability. To want our lover to touch us and to bring us pleasure is to experience need. Like we all need, want, and crave to be desired, right? And so when we have these relationship ups and downs, it causes women to withdraw desire, protect her heart, and shut down a lot of times. And that's in a way that men don't or can't, given their biological drive. You could have gotten into an argument with your man 6 p.m. in the afternoon. Argument ended about 6:30, 6:45, 7 o'clock. He ready to go. Like nothing just happened. And ladies, we over here like, I'm still hot with you, right? Regardless of if he apologized, if he got it, if we got resolution, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like we need a minute. And the man is just like, I'm good. Let's go. For us, it's contextual, right? So we need to feel emotionally safe. Romance, seduction. These are ways that men and women can co create a context for sex that helps her to separate everything that took place during her day, her mental checklist of things to do, and brings her to a place of vulnerability. Because let's just keep it real, sex is vulnerable. You're naked, you're exposed, and it is the most intimate way to connect with another person. It is extremely vulnerable, right? Because they're seeing all of you and they're getting all of you. So, for women, again, it's contextual, right? We really want our husbands to love us, to touch us, to bring us to pleasure. We want them to continue to romance us, seduce us, but we also need to feel emotionally safe in order for us to have that vulnerability. Okay. Okay. So, the next truth about women and sex is an aspect of love. Now, not to be confused with what was said earlier. For men, sex is love. There is a difference. For women, sex is an aspect of love. Sex, talking, hanging out, working together, managing a home, family as a team, feeling appreciated, celebrating holidays, giving and receiving gifts, and affection may all compromise love for a woman. Sex is a part of the whole, it's not the defining factor, whereas for men, it is a defining factor. Making love actually might flow from the warmth that she feels in a relationship, but it's not necessarily the source of the heat. But for men, it is. So for women, making love literally creates a deep feeling of attachment. But for men, sex is necessary for them to connect and attach to their partners. It creates relational generosity, faith, and optimism. And as my husband said last week, it makes men feel like they're at home when they get sex from their wives. So for them, it is love. Okay. For us, it's an aspect of love. All right. My fellas, y'all a little quiet tonight. Y'all quiet tonight, fellas. I see you, sisters. I hear you. I hear you. All right. Lastly, sex is the way she gives love. And again, not to be confused um with what was said about men. This is probably the only point that is the same. Sex is the way men give love, sex is the way women give love, but I will tell you that there still is a difference. So I am not implying in any way that women are obligated to give sex when they don't want to. But sometimes we recognize our partner's need for sex. And despite our own lack of desire or interest or energy, whatever, we may still meet that need because we love our husbands. And so there's relational warmth, there's goodwill. It literally can be a gift of love if there is warmth, goodwill, good intentions, right? It can really frustrate women when their husbands say, I want you to want it. I want it and I want you to want it too. That really frustrates women because we're like, dude, you are totally just disregarding, discounting my motive. My motive or my motivation is love. And I'm really, even though I don't want to, I don't have the desire to, I'm doing this because I see you have an unmet need and I'm trying to meet your needs. So receive. So the thing is, like, she doesn't want to feel like you are discounting her motive of love. So if a man insists that her sex drive should be the real motive, it's like, okay, well, you might not ever get none. Or if you do, it might not be the frequency that you desire if you're waiting on that. Because we often feel desire after arousal, whereas again, men, they feel arousal first. So we often, once we engage, we'll find ourselves glad that we did it, because especially if we're enjoying it and it's pleasurable and we're getting something out of it. But like initially, the desire is not always there, but the arousal will then cause the desire, and then we can enjoy it, and then we appreciate that we went ahead and took care of our man's need, because we got something out of it too. But sometimes we do it without the intent of receiving any type of reward. So the big thing for women is we really want to feel like we're on the same page with our husbands before we have sex. And sometimes it's actually sex that gets us on the same page. So again, that's one of the reasons why we'll go ahead and follow through with recognizing that there's an unmet need, and we'll follow through with meeting that need. All right. So just some key points. We know that sex is largely physiological desire for men, but for us, sex begins in the mind. And I shared with you guys, we need a connection here mentally, we need one here, which is emotionally in the heart, and then the vagina responds. So for many women, the idea of being desired is what turns us on the most, whereas for men, they're visual and they see us and they're attracted to us. The desire is there. And experiencing regular orgasms isn't as easy for us as it is for men, but it is definitely necessary if you want to continue having your lady, or for ladies to continue to want to engage in sexual activity. All right, so I'm going to look at some of your questions, comments. And again, thank you guys for responding in here, dropping dropping your yeses and amens. All right. So I think this is Alicia. She says, so if a woman has so much sexual trauma and is in the entertainment industry, but has to disassociate and then goes home to be aroused for her man, does that mean she is totally blocked, even though she feels connected, but cannot have an orgasm? Okay, so Alicia, I think I would need like a little bit more information with this one. I understand that you're saying you have sexual trauma. So the first thing I would say is definitely you have to work on recovering from that trauma if you have not. Which based off of what I'm reading here, it sounds like you have not, because if you're having to disassociate, and I'm telling you that sex for women starts in the mind. If you are disassociating, then you are not fully present. You're not all the way there. And what is going on in our mind is what actually gets us to arousal, gets us to desire. And so if you're disassociating, again, like you're not there, you're not present, and that could be one of the reasons why you're having difficulty achieving orgasm, because mentally you're not there. um what I think a lot of times we fail to realize is that the brain is like our computer. It is like a CPU, a central processing unit. And when you think about computers process the information that comes in. And that's the same thing our brains do. So the question then is, do eyes really see? Do ears really hear? And honestly, the answer is no. These are merely portals to be able to get information in for the brain to process. So even when we see something, the brain still has to process it. So again, if you are shut off here, you're not even processing for sure what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. And so that's probably why you're having a difficult time having an orgasm, sis. So yeah, you got to deal with that trauma, and you have to be fully present in order for you to enjoy the fullness of what could be between you and, did you say husband, partner? I don't know if you have a husband, but between you and your partner. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Oh yeah, you go on to say you're extremely attracted to your partner and always have been, but couldn't orgasm. Now that I'm healing, I can so much faster and enjoy it. I used to have those questions you mentioned earlier, and I can. See? Exactly. Healing from sexual trauma. And I'm sure there are many people who may be watching, or you know someone who has had sexual trauma, and it does affect their ability to orgasm for sure. JJ JJ says sex definitely brings my husband and I closer. Absolutely. So all right. So I hear you. Is it Dub 578? I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but so what? I hear a lot of generalized statements here that really bothers me. Now I'm gonna get in trouble here, but I'm at my wit's end with this. Not all men are as you say. I'm so tired of the generalization about men that are women's own personal experience. Okay. So again, I'm here for differences of opinion, and that's so good. But understand the place that I'm coming from is not my personal experience. Where I'm coming from is from research and from professional experience, not my personal experience. And what I do understand and what I learned as a psychology major, what I learned is that no two people are alike. We're all different and we're all shaped by our experiences. And the conversation tonight really was about women and how men and women differ, because we are very, very different. And what we need and what we require is different. Just like if I took 10 men and I lined them all up, you guys would be different in what it is that you like and what makes your body feel good. So, again, because I'm not dealing with individuals, there has to be generalizations because we're speaking about men in general and women in general. And as I was going through with the comments, I even said with the ladies, I'm like, some women are visually stimulated and they do get aroused from what they see visually. Most men are visual, but that doesn't mean that all men are. So they're always going to be liars. They're always going to be those that go against the grain, that don't always fall in. Everybody doesn't fit within a box for sure. But we are speaking generally because we have a platform of hundreds, thousands of people that watch this show. So I can't make a statement and it be exactly 100% spot on for every single individual. So you know what's true for you, just like the ladies here know what's true for them. But in communication with other men and in communication with experts and professionals that are out there, this is the research that is there. So again, you know your truth. And if it doesn't apply to you, that's cool. All right. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. Next week, we're digging even deeper into women and sex. So you guys tune in. I look forward to seeing you. Thank you for your comments. And please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you share this information with your friends. And you guys be sure to tune in next week. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching. You guys have a wonderful night. And I'll see you next week. Bye.